So in this lesson I am going to talk about Marcelo Bielsa and also give you some past time expressions. So there are two ways that we can talk about the past. You can talk about it from now and go into the past. For example, when he was 25, last season or last match or last year, 2 seasons ago. This is non-specific, so you can also be non-specific. And the other day means I don't know when, just 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6 days ago, the other day, or ages ago. And similar is a while ago, means a long time ago. I don't know when, it was ages ago. Or back in the day means when you were younger, maybe when you had more hair, when you had more energy, so back in the day. Or we can talk about it from a point in the past. So when you have established a point in the past, you can go more in the past or to the future. And it is different time expressions. So 2 years later or 2 years before that point in the past, or in the match after that, or in the match before that. So it's going forward or backwards. In the following season, this is a little bit more formal maybe. In the following season or in the previous season at that time, but that is not from a point in the past. I don't know why I put that there. That's just a past time expression. Okay, Marcelo Bielsa, what a great coach. I love him. I love his style of football. All of his teams that I have seen play great attacking football. Usually the formation is a 3-3-3-1, so 3 defenders. I know there is a story when he started managing Argentina. He asked the players, do you want to play in a back 4 or in a back 3? And most of the players said a back 4, but he decided a back 3. He said, no, a back 3 is better, and he told them why it is better. I know he has adapted his formation for teams. Atletico Bilbao played a 4-3-3, I think. But all his teams are attacking and very offensive. They like to play football in the other team's half. And his coaching style and methods have influenced many coaches currently now. For example, Maurizio Pochettino, Maurizio Pellegrino, Solari, Sampaoli, who else? Jorge Sampaoli. Diego Simeone. Pep Guardiola said he was the greatest manager ever. He was a great coach in 2012. That was a wasp. So yeah, Pep Guardiola really likes him. Players love him. Players have commented on his methods. Batistuta, Benjamin Mendy, Pepe at Lille. He signed Pepe for Lille. Also Alexis Sanchez, Javi Martinez, Fernando Llorente. There are many great players that respect and have a lot of love for Marcelo Bielsa. So let's look at his history. Well, he retired, well, back in the day he was a footballer, but he retired when he was 25. He played for Newell's Old Boys in Argentina. And yes, so when he was 25 he retired and he became the youth team coach. 10 years later, he became the first team coach of Newell's Old Boys. With Newell's Old Boys, he got to the final of the 1992 Copa Libertadores, but he lost on penalties to Sao Paulo, I think. Also in that year, well, in the following weeks after that final, he won the Clausura in Argentina, which is like the second half of the season. From Newell's Old Boys, he went to Mexico and he was a manager there for 6 years. Then he went to Espanyol in 1998, but only for a few weeks because Argentina asked him to be the national team manager. So in 1998, he became the Argentinian national team manager. They qualified for the World Cup a few years later, 2002. But they went out in the group stages. They drew with Sweden in the last match. But in the previous match, England beat them, I think, 1-0. But Bielsa kept his job. So he kept his job after that World Cup, and then in the 2004 Olympics, Argentina won the gold medal, and then in the Copa America, I think they were runners-up in the Copa America in that year. A few years later, in 2007, he became the Chile manager, and I remember his Chile teams. They played with such energy, very attacking, and he qualified for the World Cup in 2010, but they were knocked out, I think, in the by Brazil, I think, in the round of 16. After Chile, he became the Athletic Bilbao manager, and I remember his Athletic Bilbao team in 2011, 2012. It was a really good team. I remember because I was teaching people from Bilbao at that time, and they went to Old Trafford to watch Bilbao, and I think Bilbao beat Manchester United. They played some really good football. They beat them in the Europa League. Bilbao got to the final that year of the Europa League, but they lost in the final to Atletico Madrid. And also they got to the final of the Copa del Rey, but they lost to Barcelona in the final. And in that year, that was when Pep Guardiola said Bielsa is the best coach in the world. A couple of years later, he became the Marseille manager in 2014, and they started really well, playing his attacking brand of football. But near the end of the season, they faded and they finished fourth, I think. And that has been accused or labelled at Bielsa's teams, that they burn out. Bielsa burnout. They run out of energy near the end of the season. But I don't know about this. He does put a lot of demand on his players. He wants them to run a lot. But they are athletes. They can run around a lot. And I don't think at the end of the season they become tired. It's just other teams maybe have more resources. In 2016, Bielsa became the Lazio manager, but only for 2 days, I think. I think he quit because he didn't think the club had enough money to buy players that he wanted. So in the following season, he went to Lille and he became the manager of Lille. And before pre-season had started, he told 11 experienced players that he did not need them. He wanted a youthful, energetic team. So even before seeing them train, he told 11 players that he didn't need them. And he signed a couple of young players. Nicolas Pepe was one. And Lille had a good season that year, but the disagreement with the senior players resulted in Bielsa being suspended after 13 games by the club, and eventually he was sacked. Then he became the Leeds manager 2 seasons ago. And in his first season, he also gave youth a chance. I think he gave about 10 players their senior debut in that season, who were under 21. In that season, he did well. Leeds were at the top of the table for most of the season. Also, there was a Spygate incident. He admitted to spying on Derby County's training. A man was spotted outside the training ground watching them train, and there was a big investigation, and Bielsa actually gave a PowerPoint presentation to all of the media and said, yes, I analyse everything. I analyse set pieces, he analyses the reserve goalkeepers, everything, and he gave all the information, and eventually I think they were fined. I think they were fined £200,000. But in that season also, in the penultimate game, so the penultimate means the game before last, not the last game of the season, the game before the last. So in that match, Leeds needed to win to still have a chance of automatic promotion. And in that match, they scored a goal, but it was when an Aston Villa defender was injured. So Bielsa, who wanted to win the match in a fair way, he always wants to win football matches the right way. So he decided Aston Villa should equalise, and he let them score a goal. They walked it into the goal. This was in the 72nd minute, near the end of the match. The match was 0-0. Leeds went 1-0 up, and then he let Aston Villa equalise. It was an amazing gesture of fair play. The match finished 1-1. Leeds didn't get automatically promoted, and they lost to Derby County in the promotion playoffs in that season. But this season, Leeds won the Championship, the second division in England, and next season they will be in the Premier League. I'm really excited to see Bielsa's team and Leeds in the Premier League. It will be interesting to see how his teams play against the big teams and other big name managers and coaches in that league. Thank you for watching. I know there are many stories about Bielsa. Maybe you can tell me some in the comments. I know one time he went to a player's house early in the morning, like 2 a.m. in the morning, woke up the player's father, asked the father to take the bed sheets off the player when he was sleeping. He inspected his legs and said, yes, I will sign him, he has good legs. Also, I know that he called up Javier Mascherano to the national team even before he played his senior debut, I think. He contacted his team and said, I want a player from your reserve team, and they were shocked. He has some different methods. He is very analytical, he analyzes everything, but his teams play with energy and are very exciting. Good luck to Leeds in the Premier League next year. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.